Live.
Is it live? Well, this is Tommy Nation Politics, guys. And we're live without any Soroses, Bloombergs, Zuckerbergs, or any kind of bergs. We've got only free-thinking, innovative, and totally open-minded news, guys. Tommy Nation Politics, a new progressive independent media. Hopefully you guys will join us for the conversation. I plan to have a lot of fun tonight because, we're going to have... I love talking about billionaires, as Doc Burgess knows, so let's see. I really do. They're my favorite people. They're winning. So, guys, if y'all have comments, the chat's open as well. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that.
Oh, there they are. Look at them all.
Hey, guys, check out who the owners are. The owners. You know the owners.
Yeah.
They want us to be, what did George Carlin say? They want us to be compliant workers. Compliant workers.
Uh-huh.
Obedient workers, my bad. What do you think, Doc? Do you agree with George Carlin?
That's what they want.
Well, what Elon Musk wants is Twitter. I made an offer for it.
He did.
But that really can't. What do you think about that?
I think it's hilarious. And I think he is one of the most awesome people around. He is not your billionaire's billionaire. That's for sure. Doesn't he lives in some $50,000 house, right? Pretty much every cent he makes.
Didn't Ebenezer Scrooge do? He lived in a $50,000 house too, right? Scrooge liked the cold.
What?
He liked it. Scrooge in the Dickens Christmas story, and he liked to live cheaply. He was a good guy.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to hit you. First. This is our conversation, guys. Doc Burgess and I, we always come and chat it up, and we always yell about billionaires. Because, what I'm glad about, though, is the fact that we have kept with our principles and values, while the shit libs have literally completely turned. I don't know what happened with that.
It's what I admire about you, Thomas.
I mean, is it hard? I just thought you had felt some kind of way. Is it hard to be honest and tell your feelings?
No.
I don't get it. It's weird.
No.
The Democratic Party has literally fucked me mentally on this shit because they lie all the time. I don't understand if they mean it or not. If they're trying to do it and they're not, it's just so weird. It never happens though.
Yeah, they're a freaking case.
So
you're Democrats, you're so-called progressives. Wow, they are
my God.
Their shit now, man. They are. It's so to watch these these morons.
These fucking morons,
progressives, Robert Reich.
They call themselves progressives. Why do they do that? Are they trying to fuck us up? Are they trying to mess with us? Is that what they're trying to do?
They think that they are.
But they literally smeared Bernie Sanders and rigged the primaries. So why would they think that?
Yeah,
I honestly, Doc, I've come to the conclusion.
They care, Thomas. Sinister. They say they care. They care about you as a black man.
They do.
They care about you as a gay man.
They don't want me to fall. They don't want me to fall. They don't want me to fall in the hands of the Russians. That's for sure. With that. So basically, that's what I'm saying about Elon Musk, though, is that he was on the Ghislaine Maxwell docket, right? She was talking about the unnamed people. Elon Musk was on that list, right? If come to find out, how do you feel about that? Just a question. I don't know.
Is she the one with what's his face? Who's a dead
Jeffrey
guy?
Epstein? Yeah, who didn't kill himself.
I don't know what to make any of that. Was Musk supposedly on there?
There's pictures of them. I mean, literally, she hung out in every party, so it's hard to nail down. And this is why there's the Trump Bill Clinton argument, because you don't know. Apparently everybody broke off friendships with Jeffrey Epstein after he came out as a sex trafficker, and he was convicted for it. He was convicted for it, but except for Bill Gates. But he kept going, and that's why he got a divorce. But there's pictures of them all the time, and Ghislaine Maxwell most recently with Elon Musk at a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser. So I don't even know what it's for, but Doc, my line. There is no such thing as a good billionaire. They become billionaires by exploiting their workers, by extracting the wealth and hiding it in the Cayman Islands and paying our politicians. None of that's good. And you might, like to draw and sing very well, but I really honestly think that we could do without them. I don't know, man. Have you changed on that? Your mind on that at all?
I have not.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. Just I want to know why. Like even after Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, and then one of the Chinese billionaires, he bought the L.A. Times. Bloomberg's
Right.
bought the Bloomberg. He owns Bloomberg and Bloomberg Politics, all that, and he's funneled $900,000 to Joe Biden. He funneled it transparently on OpenSecrets.org. So it just seems like they're blatantly running our country. They are the owners. We're talking that Carlin's talking about, right? Or not? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've come around. Well, you and I have always agreed about what I'd call corporate crony America, or the world, really, like that whole globalist, our way or the highway, great reset. You'll own nothing and you'll like it.
And you'll be happy. Yeah. That's what they really think, though, isn't it?
But dude,
we'll take great care of you.
Wealthy people have controlled everything forever. And I mean forever. This predates communism. This predates even the Roman Republic, never mind our republic. So my problem with hating billionaires, or there shouldn't be billionaires, is what's the alternative to that? How do you stop a billionaire from being a billionaire? How do you stop a guy from being successful?
Maybe we wouldn't have to stop the billionaire themselves if we only had a government that works for all of us and not the few. Because the complaints, like they're the gatekeepers now. They burn the bridges down.
Here's the thing: if the government more or less left business alone and supported small business, made it easy for small businesses to thrive and compete, big businesses couldn't do what they're doing. They wouldn't. What happens now, it's a big mob protection racket, as far as I'm concerned, because I watched it happen in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. It's a big freaking grift racket, right? Mm-hmm. The politicians have the power over things like, inspecting your site, regulation. They can call up their next union rep or whatever and come, harass or burn down your building or whatever the fuck they're going to do. And you pay them protection money. You give them
the mob did that first.
Required bribes, right? They can do. They siphon it over to politicians, so they leave you alone.
That's what the mob did, though, too, right? So they just kind of borrowed that from the mob.
It's the mob. It's exactly right.
Right. So literally, no matter who it's called, you can call it the mob, you can call it the billionaires, you can call it the U.S. government. Whoever's in charge, they pay off people and they terrorize till they get what they want. It seems like I don't know. Is that the money that does it?
Now, all of a sudden, he's under investigation for whatever the shit he's done. We learned this in real estate investing. They always said, when you're doing stuff that's on the margins of real estate law, like wholesaling, there's some things that are called non-licensed real estate activity, and they always say pigs eat, hogs get slaughtered. That's how it is in business, also in politics.
So,
and Elon's definitely he's a big hog for sure.
I wanted to, if the mainstream media had any sense, they could. Here's something that Julian Assange said. I want to share this with you, Doc, because I think it's 100% true.
Hopeful things that I've discovered. One of the hopeful things that I've discovered is that nearly every war that has started in the past 50 years has been a result of media lies. The media could have stopped it if they had searched deep enough, if they hadn't reprinted government propaganda. They could have stopped it. But what does that mean? Well, that means basically populations don't like wars. And populations have to be fooled into wars. Populations don't willingly and with open eyes go into a war. So if we have a good media environment, then we'll also have a peaceful environment.
If we have a good media environment, we'll also have a peaceful environment. So
Well,
now
we don't have that. We don't have
that's
anything
clear.
like that.
It's clear. And I did a whole live stream basically on the CIA is literally taking tactics they did to overthrow countries and doing them to our country, which is why I call them traitors. Because what else would you call them if they do that stuff?
You've won me over completely on that one. You and I used to have early arguments about
what else would you call it if they're doing overthrow tactics,
right?
I mean,
and especially because I personally know people in Ukraine and I've seen what's been going on there, and I'm watching like all these freaking morons, like, you know, Johnny come lately is all of a sudden like, oh, Putin's bad. We need to like slap Russia and
like Sean Penn, who's such a liberal.
Ukraine has been killing Ukrainians for like 10 years.
I know
a friend in Mariupol she was bombed. They were bombed in Donetsk by the Ukrainian government, which we put in there in 2014. We facilitated that coup. Obama, Biden, Poroshenko, who my Ukrainian friends hated that guy. He was the most corrupt fucker ever. A bunch of neo-Nazis, and people think, well, what's the new guy? Zelensky, he's a Jew. I'm like, well, Nazism isn't just about Jewish people, right? Like that's German Nazism. Nazism is about national socialism.
Exactly.
And the Ukrainians,
like national socialism, like not like economic wise, but nobody that was born here, everybody that was born here could stay here. Anybody that wasn't can leave. That kind of stuff.
That's Ukraine.
That is.
They're anti-Russian. They were restricting the East Donetsk, basically Russian ethnic Ukrainians from even speaking Russian. They weren't allowed to speak Russian. They're bombing them. These people just want to be left alone. And Ukrainian government goes over and bombs them. And Putin's like, okay, that's enough. You got to quit that shit. Meanwhile, you got like Biden over there telling them he was the first quid pro quo.
It's obscene. It's obscene.
You don't get the 1 billion unless you quit investigating.
No.
You know, fire that lawyer who's investigating my son. You don't get the billion.
I got some questions for you for this. I know I want to talk about billionaires, but I have to ask you about this. So this is amazing. First, Biden says, "Look, fat, you do some push-ups. Putin can't be in power, buddy." He literally says his same Saddam Hussein line the same way, like that he did in Senate. And then people still believe it. But now he gave $800 million extra dollars after they tripled the deficit. These two parties, he gave $800 million extra dollars to Ukraine. I feel like the Ukrainians are just way more important than us. I mean, isn't he our president? I thought he was supposed to represent our values and our people.
Do you know what, Thomas? You know why? Do you know why they're doing that? You know why they're doing that?
The Ukrainians, you must be super special. Maybe stand with them.
No,
the United States.
Thomas, why? Ukraine is the new Afghanistan. They lost their shit in Afghanistan. The military-industrial complex lost their shit. Like, you know, what's happening with Ukraine in Putin is it's your neocon, neo-lib wet dream. They got their back.
You're right.
And they don't want Ukraine to. They don't want Ukraine to stop fighting. They don't want.
No, we set them up to get wrecked.
They lied to them. They said to Ukraine, oh yeah, well, if you do this and you do that and you toe our line and oh yeah, you can have NATO. Meanwhile, they told Poroshenko, you'll never get NATO, but just play along because we gotta take down that Putin guy.
Did you hear Zelensky say that himself?
He said it himself. He did say that.
Yes,
do you know who Zelensky is? You know who he is? He would be like if Jerry Seinfeld became our president because Jerry Seinfeld had a comedy show where he played the president of the United States. That's why Zelensky is like the Ukrainians going, okay, we've had it with politicians. We're going to put this literal clown in office because he played the president on TV. That's what they did.
I mean, that's what we do. So of course they did. And you remember Ashraf Ghani? He was a clown. So I feel like all of our politicians that pick all of our puppet politicians, they pick other puppets. But there's no, it's like the Bible says about the foundation of sand. You saw Ashraf Ghani run the first moment he could get a hold of him. Nicolas Maduro, as soon as he can, he's going to stop shipping oil to us. Biden's desperate, and he's making desperate decisions. And the most desperate decision ever
he's got a
was to be
33% approval rating. He's the worst president in our history.
Yes, and even more than Hoover during the Depression. That's amazing. We'd like to thank you, Herbert Hoover.
We have the Democratic Party to thank for that. Thank you so much.
But Doc,
guy who got 81 million votes. My ass.
But Doc, get this. It's funny because this is what justice should be. This is what karma is. Basically, he is using his regime change rhetoric to. I just slightly disagree with you on Ukraine is the new Iraq. I think they have so much arrogance and hubris, and they're bloodthirsty. They're drunk on the blood of Saddam Hussein and drunk on the blood of Muammar Gaddafi. They really want to kill Putin. They wanted to kill him for the longest time. Lindsey Graham jerks off to it every day. That's what I mean,
Thomas.
And Russia is literally the new Iraq. Exactly. But see, it's not going to work out like Iraq with a fucking desert and a bunch of people hiding in caves. They have nuclear weapons, and these people are so arrogant that they really don't think.
I swear to God, Thomas, you're right. I listen to friends of mine saying, we could take Russia. Like, we gotta hit them hard. We gotta hit them hard.
Like, they know us better than
we do. What are you talking about? What does hitting Russia hard mean? Like, what?
They know us.
Nagasaki, Moscow, and St. Petersburg. That's what we're gonna hit Russia hard with.
Lindsey Graham said we might nuke Europe and then some. I don't know what the then some is. But Lindsey Graham said that on Hannity, and Hannity didn't even question it. And I'm starting to feel like this is going to be part of the conventional wisdom that we should start. It's Hiroshima.
He actually chastised Tulsi. Did you see Tulsi Gabbard on there? She tried to talk reason to him.
Sean Hannity literally doesn't talk reason. He just says propaganda. That's all he does.
He's been a dickhead for a long time.
Not Tucker Carlson. I feel bad for Tucker Carlson because he's on
the Amazon Union.
He's won me over. Tucker, yeah, he did. He's won me over, bro. I don't care how many shit libs say he's a racist because he has people on that he wants to talk to.
They don't know they don't watch his show.
The shit libs are wrapped up in who you're talking to, who are you associated with, who are you fucking around. They don't listen to anything.
They just chastised that Amazon Union guy for talking to Carlson.
Yes, they did. They don't care.
Or Jimmy Dore. They chastised Jimmy Dore for that.
I didn't know we're going to go this far to the nuclear holocaust, and that's okay because we're standing with Iraq. Like, how crazy can this be? I believe it could be crazier, and I don't want it to be. Now we're talking about nukes.
It could be like life-ending, dude. Like, we're playing with literal fire. I grew up with the Soviet Union and the threat of the mutually. I mean, I grew up with that shit.
Yeah. Everybody knows that we're the only country. Everybody knows that we're the only country that let off an atomic bomb. Everybody knows that we're not going to be the only person because they know us. Russia knows us. We had a Cold War with them. They're expecting everything that we do.
Every bluff from Joe Biden.
They expected the asset freeze. They expected the CIA infiltration. They expected the NATO.
Russia wanted this.
They expected these things.
Russia and China, India, they're sick of the European Union and America, the banks, like the what you're talking about, all those billionaire banks telling everybody what the hell they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And they're like, fuck you, we're out. Yeah. Fine. You want to cut off our assets? We got our own assets. What have the sanctions done? Who have the sanctions hurt, Thomas? They haven't hurt Russia. The ruble's fine.
They've hurt us.
Russia's got Putin is so far ahead of Biden. It's ridiculous.
It is. Do you think that's on purpose? Because I can't tell, Doc. Do you think this was all on purpose?
Putin knows exactly what he's doing.
I know, because he's a real leader.
Whatever you want to say. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's known exactly what was going to happen.
That's sad. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
We have a literal, like, brain melted moron for a president. Like, Corn Pop is a bad dude.
We can't just blame President Biden. We have to also blame the people who put him in office. And I'm sorry, guys. I want to work together for the common good. But guys, we have to stop this nonsense. We are the architect of the Iraq War. You don't think he's doing regime change rhetoric for no reason? It's just
No, it's the same
guys.
people.
That's
It's the same
the
people.
YouTube.
The
That's the typing
Clintonistas,
thing.
the Obamistas, the same rhino neocons, all those stupid fuckers.
So what do we do about that? Because now they're all aligned and they're all happy that Trump's out because he was revoking clearances.
Trump's back.
How do you feel about that? Is that helpful?
2022 is going to be a bloodbath.
Is that helpful?
And not just for Democrats. It's a bloodbath for rhinos. They're done.
Honest, Doc, is Trump a guy who just creates controversy just because he calls women dogs and stuff? Is he helpful in the political discourse? Like, is that helpful?
Look, did he not? Did he?
He did a lot. He did a lot.
Create three Middle East peace deals. 3 of them.
He did. With the one with the Taliban.
Did he not get North Korea to back off, to back their ass down?
He was a great president.
China on the road.
I'm talking about getting us together for the common good. Like he was.
I don't give a shit about that, Thomas. There is no common good. It's done. That's done. When I'm watching my own friends, and I'm on my Facebook, they know who they are. When I'm watching good friends of mine from the right and the left talking like insane fucking people who don't have a clue and tell me, like, I don't know what I'm talking about because, you know, I have friends in Ukraine. I've been watching.
You're a Putin apologist, Russian asset. It's not apologist.
Because I'm telling the truth about what's going on over there. Like, oh, you're just a Putin apologist.
You expected by now. I know.
I do. I don't even give a shit anymore. Like Thomas, I don't give a shit.
But so you're saying the common good is out?
Is vote them down.
We can't convince these guys to use logic and reason. They're really going to stay with these parties that are robbing us and all this. There's nothing we can do. You giving up on the common good?
No, it's beyond logic and reason. I'm done. I'm an emotional person, but I studied philosophy. I've made a very strong habit of, because I've been in plenty of debates. I was going to go into that field. I know I've gotten my ass handed to me and my head handed to me because I would lose it. And I knew I wasn't prepared rhetorically or intellectually, or certainly with factual understanding, or even how to facilitate speaking to somebody in a heated environment and not lose my cool, to get triggered. So I know when I'm watching these people, that's what's happening. But I realize being reasonable, I've known being reasonable doesn't work since 2016. It didn't work then with Trump. I tried to speak reason. I lost so many friends. I wasn't even a Trump voter. I just said, if you don't understand why this guy got voted in and you don't know why Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party got their ass handed to them, and you're blaming it on stupid shit like Russia, I'm like, stop talking to me. Like you have no.
Look, honestly, you're 100%
right. It was
COVID, they only believe it because Hillary said. How do you believe these liars who was lying? You're right, Doc. It's just so sad. Why are they believing the people that lie us into wars? Why do they think that they're valid sources of information? I don't understand.
I don't know. I try to point it out. I don't listen to any of it anymore. I watch Jimmy Dore a lot because he's about as far off from me as you can.
I watch Tucker. I watch Tucker. That makes me unpopular.
I watch some Tucker. I watch Crystal Ball and Sagar. They're pretty great. The Hill.
I even watch the Young Turks sometimes because
I watch them too, just to laugh at Chang.
So I know we're getting off on tangents, but what happened to the Young Turks, bro? They've literally they've lost it. They have the black book like Hillary Clinton. They hate Tulsi Gabbard. They hate Tucker Carlson. They hate Dave Rubin. And they just fuck them. Dave Rubin, yes. They literally just they throw shit. Just like what David Brock did to Bernie Sanders and Neera Tanden. They sound just like that Hillary Clinton's hatchet men. And they call themselves progressives now.
Well, but
they literally hatchet men all the time. They're just hatcheting everyone, bro. It's weird.
They're beholden. They're beholden. Young Turks is beholden.
Don't you know, Anna? Don't you know, Jack, that when you fucking just don't have an argument, when you call Tulsi Gabbard a bigot because she wants to protect children, don't you know that me as a gay man, I can hear what she's saying and I can hear what you're saying, and it doesn't line up. You sound ridiculous. Calling Tulsi Gabbard a fucking bigot. She never said anything about gay people. She was talking about kids.
But
so if you just listen to Tulsi,
J.K. Rowling. Who's just J.K. Rowling's all she's talking about is women's rights, you know.
I mean, but that's where we're at with the liberals.
Topic.
They literally don't want to conversate. They think either you're part of the solution or you're an insurrectionist Putin puppet. Like that is literally
That's-
now what it is. And
That's
so
the
that's
woke-
that's
That's
INGSOC.
the woke mentality. That's that.
INGSOC.
I
That's
don't
what we were
even
warned
call it
about.
the left anymore. People call it the left, but I know that you're left. Like you're a
Yeah.
responsible
I mean, they're
progressive.
not anything.
That's just
They're-
that woke.
I don't know what they are.
Like-
Afraid? Like, how are you so afraid that you can't even conversate with your friends and neighbors? You have to accuse them and smear them of things. That sounds like the last desperate resort of having no argument. So I mean, really.
That's Thomas. That is 1,000% the case. That is exactly right. The only reason you ever censor other people or shut them up is because you don't have a reasonable argument that you know will convince the bulk of people. You know, when you are telling, blocking and censoring and, throwing every name and pejorative in the book at somebody to shut them down rhetorically, it's because you don't have the goods and they do.
Yeah. I agree.
Whether they're
100%.
right or not, they have at least a better argument and a better set of facts. That's why you're shutting them down.
So that's why I have hope, because the right and the left both see this and we know what the fuck's happening.
Those of us, yes.
They do.
Yes.
But
Enough of
there's a massive majority of just sycophantic
Well, and
people that don't know anything. They don't want to know.
Dude,
they really don't want to know
there's-
Hillary overthrew Gaddafi. They don't want to know. It's fake
my
news.
kids are half Canadian. They're so insane that Trudeau, so like those people, these woke leaders are so crazy. Canada is the most like friendly, peaceful, let it ride. Like they pissed off Canadians. Canadian truckers and the Canadian people rolling up and taking over Ottawa like they were freaking Antifa shit.
I mean,
Like,
at this point,
how crazy are you?
I don't-
And what
I
did
don't-
Trudeau do to them? He freaking seized
he
their
did
bank
emergency
account.
powers.
Fucking
He did a
arrested them.
Hitler. He did a Hitler.
He
There's no
did.
way around it, guys.
Well,
Except,
do you think he's Castro's son? Do you think he is?
I don't know,
It's
but
a
all I know is
strange-
that he did one up on the U.S. and he actually gave back his emergency powers. We still have the Patriot Act in perpetuity, so we're more fascist by far than even Justin Trudeau. But we're just going to go ahead and forget about the fact that they keep renewing the Patriot Act for no reason except to call us all terrorists. And this is why they do it.
That's why we need to
Because they
sweep
know.
them out. They need to sweep them out. We
This
need
is
more.
I'm not big
Rand
conspiracy
Pauls
theorists. It's all
there.
coming together. The Patriot Act renewal, all of this cancel culture. What is it coming to, Doc? INGSOC. It really is. I mean, that's literally all the
Coming to
ingredients.
what?
1984. Rejecting the
we're
ears
there.
and eyes,
We're
talking
way
the party
deeper.
line. Like, we're literally
we're
almost there.
Atlas Shrugged, 1984. We are well into
All
that.
we need is a human existential crisis like a nuclear war, and we will literally be in A Handmaid's Tale or anything like that. They will. Joe Biden, like, was not their first pandemic. They're lying. Even the media, Doc, is lying about the labs, the biolabs that our government said existed. Tulsi Gabbard mentioned them, and Mitt Romney says treasonous. They don't even want to talk because they know that
Biolabs in Ukraine.
that was the run. That was the dry run. They were planning to do so many other things. And that's what I was afraid of, Doc, because once they did the mandates and we just said nothing, and we did the mask, they said nothing, and then they took our businesses, they said nothing. They realized something. They could do whatever they want to us, and we'll do it. And not only that, but they'll keep voting.
Well,
They'll keep voting too. Vote. They'll vote.
Except we do have elections, and at times our elections have consequences. And I'm telling you, with this kind of stuff, Thomas, you saw it in Canada. I saw it among certain of my friends here who have like musician friends, hardworking people who, just want to raise their families. I've never seen them ever make a political post on Facebook ever in like 10 years. This COVID thing and the stuff they've done, the Disney shit, like the culture war shit, and they have radicalized these people, radicalized them. You just turn Virginia red.
And how you can't
Like,
be
you just
radicalized.
You pissed off.
You hear one argument, and then you
school children.
Yeah,
They fucked up.
That's bad, Doc, because like you hear an argument. I don't feel like you should be sexualizing children. Then you hear "Don't say gay," which has nothing to do with any of the bill, and it's literally
Oh,
just propaganda. And as an intelligent person who just knows English, you can surmise that it's. I don't even know how do we even have a conversation if you're just gonna take what your opponent says and just make it all up. Russian asset, you're a fucking Russian asset. Like literally, these people have created a world now where like the only place we're headed is a dystopian future. Because how are we gonna fix our problems? We can't. You're gonna call me a
no.
Russian asset if I bring it up. And this has caused a lot of people have already disconnected because of social media, like to humanity. I believe.
Well, Thomas, I think like there's some people you should probably listen to. Dr. Steve Turley, he's, you probably, your head would spin a little bit listening to him, but he's an extremely smart guy. And what's happening is happening with Russia. He makes the point that Russia is what he calls the first of what are going to become many civilization states. And part of what he calls a network society that we've had since early World War II, start of World War I, so the 20th century into the throes of this century, we had like the liberal globalist order, the
New World Order.
Like we know better, we know best. You listen to us. Right. It's the United Nations, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, no, we like our culture. We like our language. We like the way we think. Yeah. But they controlled all of the means of communication. They had it all. Right. And what you're realizing with CNN, with Fox, with all these newspapers is when a story happens, Thomas, what are the images that we see? The first images we see of anything
women and children.
Not news cameras. Well, I'm saying, how do we get the images? On trucks. Not with news cameras, with iPhones. People.
Yeah, and it's always women and children in trucks.
Like your racist neighbor calling up, the 911 because black kids are trying to sell water on the sidewalk. It's like you can't get away with that shit anymore. You can't do it.
And because we've lost our humanity, I feel like this is when we turn back from Joe Biden towards ourselves, and we see the reflection.
But I think we have a real chance. It's not going to be pretty because these people are not going to, give up power easily. No one ever does.
Oh,
but we can very much hold them in check. We very much can, and it's really breaking apart. I mean, this kind of populist movement is happening everywhere. They just reelected Orban in Hungary. Le Pen in France might actually beat Macron. The Dutch, I think up in what was it? Sweden, Germany. I mean, these people have had it with these autocrats. It's going to happen here. You watch what happens
because they won't. They're making sure it won't with this insurrection, scary shit. That's why they've trumped up the insurrection because they know. And that's why they did the lynching law, Doc, because it's not for black people. That they're 100 guys, Democrats, Republicans. You're 100 years too late. Thanks for caring now, but it's for you. You guys have done the most despicable things, and you know it. You know that the wages of your sin is death, and you know what the rightful thing. I'm not trying to preach violence, but the only rightful way that you should end Democrats, Republicans for your crimes, you know how that goes, and that's why you did the lynching bill. I know that. But Doc, I'm glad you mentioned that people want to check other people. Jack Dorsey, who's also a billionaire, he wants to talk about Elon Musk and his takeover, his absolute fascist. I don't know. He bought shares. I don't know how that's fascist, but I'll let Jack Dorsey talk.
Well, the former CEO of Twitter has publicly criticized the company's board as it evaluates a takeover bid from billionaire Elon Musk. On Sunday, Jack Dorsey responded to a Twitter user describing the, quote, plots and coups that played out in the early history of Twitter's board by saying, quote, it has consistently been the dysfunction of the company. Dorsey is still a member of the board but plans to leave once his term expires in May. Musk tweeted Saturday the Twitter board, quote, collectively owns almost no shares, with Dorsey departing. He also said the board's economic interests do not align with those of shareholders. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO offered to buy Twitter for $43 billion last week. CBS News tech reporter Dan Patterson joins us now for more on this. Dan, great to see you. Get updated on what's going on with the Elon Musk Twitter board saga. We know that the board employed something that's known as a poison pill, right? Explain what that means and why that, at the very least, is, holding things off for a little bit.
Yeah, good to see you too, Tanya. Another twist in this saga. So this poison pill, as described, is really just a dilution of stock, or a proposed dilution of stock. So the way it would work is the board would say if any one shareholder met a 15% threshold, then they would approve other shareholders to buy Twitter stock at a reduced price. This would effectively dilute Twitter stock, and it would reduce the amount that the person who was trying to hostilely take over the company owned. It would reduce their percentage of ownership.
But do we know if there are any other serious suitors out there?
Billionaires control the media, and it's undermining democracy.
This is a great set of papers.
I've had such fun out there reading those papers. Anybody who thinks politics are boring would have their mind changed by these papers.
The Sun, Times, Mail, Metro and Telegraph are all owned by individuals who are incredibly wealthy and don't even pay taxes in the UK. There's Rupert Murdoch, who founded News Corp, whose UK arm, News UK, owns the Sun and Times stables. He lives in the US, where he's a citizen. There's Viscount Rothermere with the Mail, Mail on Sunday and Metro. He lives in France and is a non-dom. And there are the Barclay brothers with the Telegraph and Sunday Telegraph, not to mention the Spectator. Twins so cartoonishly bad, they have a secret lair in the Channel Islands. Rupert Murdoch leads the pack in wealth and he's worth around 20 billion. The Barclay brothers, they're worth about 8 billion, while the fourth Viscount Rothermere is worth a comparative.
Now, Doc, that was the Washington Post. And I think it's funny how they thought they did. Unfortunately, they didn't mention Jeff Bezos. Do they know who Jeff Bezos is? They work for him. I'm surprised. Very surprised they didn't know. Remember their billionaire boss. The billionaires are destroying the country. That's amazing. Because you work for a billionaire. Do you know him? Jeffrey Bezos. It's weird. Yeah, because Jeffrey Bezos is not a good guy. He's smearing people with the most insane things. I don't know if he comes up with them or he hires people to, but what they're smearing these union people for, bribing people with marijuana, vandalizing, like you guys are almost as bad as CNN about the George Floyd protests. You guys really are. At this point, like literally, I don't know what to do with mainstream media except throw it in the garbage and let it off.
Turn it off.
Literally, bro.
Cancel your cable.
How
Turn
do we convince other people that this is literally? I don't know how they're not. This is literally the same trash since the 80s.
I share the podcasts and the people that I like, and I try to make it clear that I take in anyone who's fair-minded. I definitely watch and listen to Jimmy Dore. I listen to Crystal Ball because she's principled. I don't like her idea. I don't agree with her much. I do kind of agree with Tucker Carlson, but he's kind of the same thing from another place.
Sometimes Tucker wins me over, bro, with his guts.
Steve Turley.
Something happened to Tucker when Jon Stewart made fun of his bow tie. He got some balls. He started to. I think that was the moment he knew who he was. So I think that was a good thing for Jon Stewart. Told him that the crossfire hurt America. It did, but it wasn't Tucker and it wasn't Bengala. It was CNN. It was Jeff Zucker. It was the corporate news media that tells him to do these things, and I think Tucker realized that. I hope Jon Stewart realizes
Tucker's not a conservative. He's not a Ben Shapiro kind of conservative. Well, he's more of a populist.
Tucker Carlson told Jimmy Dore that the reason he can say whatever he wants about the wars is because all of his advertisers left because he's a racist. That's his main smear. He's a racist. I've never heard Tucker Carlson say anything racist at all. Sometimes it's his guests. Sometimes his guests are racist. They always just project whatever is on Tucker Carlson's show as his fault. Because you guys, why is that? Because you can't legalize marijuana? Because your president can literally take marijuana off a scheduled drug, but he won't do it. And why? Literally, he could do it. These are the questions that we'll never answer, and we'll never hold our politicians accountable because you're too busy talking about Tucker Carlson's racist guests, and he's racist by association. Stop the associations. Let's focus on our politicians, guys. They're the ones that were supposed to be civil servants. They're not anymore. They're idols. It's making me sick. This is the problem. We got to make people realize that. because we still have a constitution until they get rid of it, and they're planning on it. So I kind of caveat. I think there's still though the common good still can work, but the clock is ticking. That's my thing. Clock is ticking fast,
Right.
guys.
And all I will say is for worse this time, but elections do have consequences for the worse and for the better. They can.
What do you think is going to happen in the midterms? What do you think is going to happen?
It's, dude, there's going to be at least, I'm saying at least 60 seats changed in the House. It might be 100. And the Senate's probably going to flip by at least 3 to 5 seats. And it's not just, I mean, Democrats are already, they're retiring.
They're planning on running
they're running
Trump,
like rats
Joe
off the
Biden
shit.
4 more years. Just give him 4 more years. They're literally doing this. They're running on the strategy that all of it's because he didn't have a stronger Congress. Again, it's never their fault. So if you just give him more time, like we gave Obama to do a grand bargain with John Boehner.
Yeah, Joe Biden's done. Joe Biden is
even his party.
He's already a lame duck.
His sycophants don't even know. Like they're still like Joe Biden's a good president. He rose in bridges. They don't even realize that.
No one thinks Joe Biden is a good president. Like,
these people do. They think he fixed roads and bridges or something. I don't know where. But that's what I get. I get that on my live stream a lot. These sycophants. He fixed the roads and bridges. Where? 35? Not really. What roads and what bridge did he fix? They don't know, but literally they're so adamant about it. Roads and bridges, roads and bridges.
He's out.
No, he took that money and he fucking gave it to Hunter.
Kamala, what are the Democrats? The Democrats are going to lose in 2024. They're going to lose in 2022. They're going to make themselves a minority party.
They're good at what they do. They're good at what they do, and that's why it's gotten bad. They're good at smearing people and labeling them.
But they're not anymore. The problem is they didn't know how to stop. They've way overplayed it. People are so done with that. Oh, absolutely.
Because people like the antagonist, protagonist. This whole Putin's a good guy, Zelensky's Putin's a bad guy. It's working all the time.
What'll happen is we're going to have kind of like sort of like parallel societies. There's going to be states like mine, Illinois. They're going to be like Democrat machine, woke, high tax, like your Democrat utopia, so-called. And there's going to be states like Florida, states like Texas, place where people are moving to actually, that are going to have like basically like separate economies. There's going to be businesses that people support because they're woke and they're, like Disney and that. And there's going to be like
there's going to be businesses that conservative support.
There's going to be a different internet. There's going to be different like food and clothing and all the stuff we do. There's going to be
like the United States.
It won't be the United States anymore. I mean, we'll hold together
tomorrow.
Because
have you heard of this Amaro thing idea? You heard of this Amaro idea, Doc? Amaro. No. It's North and South America and Mexico combined because they don't want the border. Like I say, they're doing this all on purpose because they want us to be globalists, right? The corporations are international. Corporations are international. So they want us all to not. Why? They have Joe Biden right there tearing the borders apart.
They don't. You seen his approval? They don't have Joe Biden. They've got him. I mean, what are they thinking?
He's shaking hands with a ghost.
What has Joe Biden done? What's been passed? Anything that he said he would do? What's been passed?
The point is,
I even have my Democrat friends supporting him because he reversed his
also in the room,
and he's opened up the oil leasing context.
I know.
I'm like, do you hear yourself? Are you saying you're for Joe Biden opening up the oil leases again? Now you're saying that's cool, and now it's the oil company's fault for not taking up the leases.
They had a whole the shit libs had a whole clown adventure with that. It's transitory. Inflation is transitory. Inflation is the breeding corporations. Inflation is Putin's fault. Jen Psaki is done. Jen Psaki's done.
They're done.
Jen Psaki's going to MSNBC next week. She's going to be the new Rachel Maddow.
MSNBC, I know.
She's escaping. I've never seen a press secretary not
is done. CNN is done.
Rachel Maddow, she's coming on for one more day just to see.
No one watches them. I'm telling you.
I've seen the numbers. It's bad.
Steve Turley.
It's funny.
Never mind Joe Rogan. People like Steve Turley. People like some of the podcasts I watch on YouTube. They have They have 600,000, 700,000. Some have 2 million views. CNN, like Brian Stelter, can't get 100,000 views.
Because he sounds like he's fucking lying to you. I do something called facts and reporting. We're the most trusted name in news, but I don't really know that. I didn't ask. Oh
no one listens. No one cares. But they do still have.
So Twitter just announced today that it has a poison pill locked and loaded to kill Elon Musk's plan to get the company. The provision would let Twitter shareholders, besides Musk, buy more shares at a cheaper price if Elon tries to acquire more than a 50.
So that poison pill, I just want to bring it back, is fucking crony capitalism, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah,
you can dilute shares after someone literally just bought their shares. The price is as is, and now you're going to dilute the shares. You just heard her. The investors have no shares. Why are they on the board?
Going to tank people's investment just because they don't want Elon Musk to take over.
Also, because they have no fucking shares. Why are they on the board? If this is all true, you got to tell me how this business works. You're on the board because you're PC or you're fucking transgendered. I thought you're supposed to have shares of your own fucking company.
Not necessarily. No. No. Shareholders.
How do you get on the board? Tell me. I want to know how Hunter. How did Hunter
get elected?
Oh, you have a laptop, right? I got a laptop. Should I leave it with Hunter Biden?
There's a difference between like being an owner of the company and being a shareholder of the company.
I know, but I'm talking about the board of directors, like the board that Hunter sat on.
The board of directors is
he was an energy expert. He had extensive energy.
The board of directors is just people who, are advisors and make decisions in the company's interest. It's an elected thing.
You're telling me that a crackhead was making fucking decisions on a company's interests in Ukraine? They got $800 million from Joe Biden extra? Damn.
Yeah. It's good work guys. If you know people.
See, guys, crack is good. Just so you know. Anyway, but it's all very weird because crack is not good. He left his laptop. And I feel bad for Hunter Biden because he's never going to have... I've been addicted, and I had consequences, and I learned from those. And I'm glad I'm a normal person because, he's never going to have consequences. So he's going to continue to think, and I'm not joking, guys, that this crack has been good so far. So why would I stop?
Right.
It's just what the brain does.
Right.
And Joe's really hurting him, his son. I don't know if if he thinks he's helping him, but literally the best thing for Hunter Biden would be to face the reality. Right? The best thing for everybody would be to face reality and stop fucking lying about shit. Just face it, guys, and get through it. That's all. My advice.
Agreed.
They're so busy running from the truth and making up strawman propaganda stories. They're just guys.
Fox people, they want to be lied to. You can see what happens when they finally have to tell the truth on CNN.
Yeah.
They get screwed.
That's why they're scared. That's why Brian Stelter's scared.
Didn't they just call for what's the dude on MSNBC? Jake Tapper. They're calling for him to be fired.
No, that's why Rachel Maddow's leaving. That's why
because he
that's why they're all leaving because they know what's happening.
Joe Biden might not have all his faculties with him.
I mean, it's true, and everybody knows it because he does it every day. Every day he does something weird, like shake hands with an invisible person, call a kid a fucking, oh, you fucking 45. He says the most inappropriate things to kids. Black people, he just says the most inappropriate things. What is the thing that you would never say? He says it, first thing. Why? How do you do that, Joe?
He gets caught, he starts talking, and he's like,
20%, inflation's up $2, $4, $6. Bitch, literally just let Jen Psaki handle it. She said that probably. He won't let her. He wants to talk to people. You know Joe. He likes to talk. Then that way he's kind of like Trump. And guess who else left? Sarah Huckabee Sanders. These guys who are narcissists, bro. They constantly tell the truth about certain things that I think is very interesting. Joe Biden's starting to tell the truth about a lot of stuff, especially Russia and how he wants to kill Putin. It's not a secret that they all want to kill Putin. And they said, if we can't kill Putin, the Russian people should. Why aren't you doing it?
Guess what? He's got a 75% approval rate.
That's why we're gonna nuke him. Literally, they should all be nuked, right? Because
I have Russia. There's
is that
plenty of people
democracy?
who don't support what he's doing, but I'm telling you what, he
don't
is a
understand
leader looking out
democracy
for
is
his
the-
country.
This
He's
democracy,
looking out
I
for his
agree.
country's interests.
I mean,
And
ever
he's
since
handled them
NATO
well.
was formed, this has always been. It's not like it just jumped out
Thomas,
of nowhere. Ever
why
since NATO
is
was
there
formed,
NATO?
it's always
Why
been.
does NATO even exist?
It's a colonization of the world with British and French and German intelligence. Once they all decided they were capitalists, they all decided they were going to milk the world for everything it was worth, funnel it back to the mother countries, and this is their little headquarters.
That's you. That's NATO to you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I mean,
agree with you.
I mean, little. You don't have to be a left winger to
NATO-
know that what we're doing.
NATO is like
We
the
take uranium,
military.
we take the
NATO
oil.
is
We're
like
in
the-
Syria. We're in Yemen.
Na-
This is not
NATO
the
is-
original story.
NATO's like the military department for the United Nations, right?
Yes, it's like the official head sign. Like it says sandwich shop, but they're really selling crack, and they're not getting sandwiches.
But it's
NATO-
really the U.S. It's
They
all
made,
in the
they
US
made, they
taxpayer
made
because
Germany
NATO is-
fucking get rid of their pipeline. They're just fucking influence peddlers.
None of those European
help.
nations contribute to NATO. They shirk that. It's all in the U.S. so they can give all the free shit to their own people while they
Why?
accept military funding from our country.
Yeah, and they do. We get a lot of it. Joe Biden said we have a sovereign duty in Article 5 of the Constitution. I read that article, and it was to defend us against threats, foreign and domestic. What does that have to do with NATO? The guy's such a
Nothing.
liar.
What is
They used to
Ukraine?
lie.
What does
They
Ukraine
used to
have to do
lie.
with
They used to talk about how Trump lies. They remember how they counted Trump lies. Joe Biden literally can't even get near the truth at all, ever.
Right.
What if CNN counted his? Like literally, that'd be hilarious. They won't, but it's just funny because this guy lies even more than Trump. Trumps up things.
Trump
This guy
never
just flat
lied.
out. Trump I was
didn't
first in my
lie.
class. I was first in my law class.
Trump,
I was a fucking coal miner. in
Trump
fucking
just said
Africa.
crazy shit
I
about
walked with
himself.
Nelson Mandela, and then like I got in prison in fucking Africa. Like he just makes up shit, and they're just like, okay, yeah, adults in the room, so great. I'm just like, guys, the most trusted name in you. Like these guys need to pay. That's my point. I don't want to keep going on about CNN and how they literally have not apologized for even the Iraq War. They even lied about Jussie Smollett. How many of these little things are they like? But people, my liberal friends, they get on me about it's all conspiracy theories now. But is that my fault or is that the media's fault? Think about this, guys. Think about who's responsible for the fact that there's QAnon and all these conspiracy theories. Is that my fault? Because I can't trust the media because they're continuously lying? Maybe the media should do what they're supposed to do and hold our politicians accountable and tell the American people what the news is. And not lie about shit. And Don Lemon's texting Jussie Smollett and everybody's texting fucking Cuomo. They shouldn't be involved in the news. They should be reporting the news, not the news.
Well, listen to real reporters. Listen to Glenn Greenwald. All these guys who are being deplatformed. You got to listen to real reporters.
I know. I do. And
Andy
I know why
Knoll,
they're being
he's right there on the ground getting his ass kicked. By the way, he's still doing it.
Max Blumenthal,
Assange, all these people.
Assange. So let's talk about that lastly, because this seems to be like I keep saying the billionaires are responsible for the extraction of the wealth, but Assange is responsible and WikiLeaks is responsible for letting me know what exactly was in those emails. And if anybody cares to read Hillary Clinton's emails, they're on WikiLeaks, the website, still to this day, despite the CIA's they couldn't find her emails, but WikiLeaks could. It's all very interesting, but he's never going to live a normal life again. And the United States has made sure that they've pushed for extradition charges. They're going to make his life torture, just like they tortured people in Iraq. They're going to torture him. They have him in Belmarsh, and he got married, but he's like his lawyer said he's losing health. I mean, when we have Edward Snowden in exile telling the truth, when we have all of these people telling the truth and having to leave their country, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the future of media and news as it exists?
How do I feel about it?
Like, how do you? Do you feel like it's going to be worse? Do you feel like if enough people stand up, we could turn the tide? Do we feel like that?
I've never been someone who used the news, whether broadcast or print news, to tell me like what to think or how to think about anything. I have, and that's because I was educated in a very certain way.
Yeah.
You know, and I agree with people like, Mark Twain, Plato talked about this. Like, media is all it is like cultural influence, intellectual influence. It's just snippets of biased knowledge. And I don't mean bias in even a bad way. Even the way history books are written, the way a music history book, there's always a bias.
Right.
There's a point. There's not a bias, but there's a point of view. And that point of view is going to focus on certain things to the exclusion of other things. Right. It's not, so I've never been one who's put stock in what Walter Cronkite says. Or I did appreciate the fact that at least, people like Tom Brokaw or whatever, they were Democrats, but at least they could deliver. They could talk to Ronald Reagan like he was a human being, right? With some amount of respect. So I think the loss of discourse, the loss of mutual respect, those things I regret with whatever's happening now. But I've never, ever put stock in reading a newspaper. Although I read them, I read articles, I read everything I can. I read everything I possibly can. But I also read things like, Descartes' Project of Thought. I read Berkeley. I read John Stuart Mill. I read John Locke. I read Plato. I study music and music theory and music history. That is, I train my brain to. I train my brain to synthesize knowledge to best, kind of deal with what I think life is and how I'm going to deal with it. So that's a long-winded way of saying
you use knowledge as a tool, right?
Like when they hear my opinion, like, oh, you just, go back to your Fox News. I'm like, I didn't get my ideas from Fox News. I've had these ideas since I was like, it was something I can imagine thinking since I was 12 or 13.
I don't think they can even comprehend that because they just watched what they believe now, and they haven't had that.
People have been that way for so long. I mean,
really? How do we evolve as a species then from Homo to Homo sapien? Because I thought we were supposed to evolve. Our craniums, bipedal locomotion.
Know. It's just painful. I think we are evolving.
I agree. I think this whole bandwagon mentality has literally de-evolved us. It's devolved us into something. I don't even know what it is, but the bandwagon mentality, people want to say that they're made in the image of God. Like this whole thing that we're doing, the justification of our cis boom ba bandwagon mentality fights, it's literally saying that, I don't know, it's contradicting made in the image of God, and it's contradicting evolution. Literally, you guys are not made in the image of God because God does not have a hive mentality. He's a sovereign God who literally thinks things through. He's had prophecies. And then evolution says that we evolved, but it turns out that you guys literally can't just Google something on the fucking internet because you don't want to, is you just want to talk about Trump all the time. I don't give a shit about Trump. He's not doing anything in my life right now. I want this guy to legalize marijuana. He can do it. But you guys just won't shut the fuck up about Trump. You guys make me so fucking angry. If we just got together and fucking pressured him like the CEOs of Silicon Valley are pressuring Joe, then we could get something done, guys. So it's your fault. It's not Joe's fault. It's yours. Because you're talking about Trump still.
Ultimately.
I just want to make that statement, guys. So if you put any more shit on my fucking comments that have nothing to do with my videos and my content, and you want to talk about Trump, I'm tired of talking about Trump. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about your Trump or your Biden. So shut the fuck up.
So it's funny to see when you bring up something about Biden, what's the first thing they say? Trump. I'm like, dude,
Trump. I don't even know why.
Trump's not around, man. Like, what are we talking about?
Because they got trained. They got programmed to talk about by the media. Oh my God, he got the wrong date in the Spanish flu. Oh my God, inject yourself with disinfectant. Every day, bro, they literally inundated and programmed these people to care about Trump. So now they hate him so much with so much fervor, but they don't know why because they're idiots that it bothers them. I would be surprised if it turned into love and they jerk off to him like Freud or something. Like literally, they talk about him like they're obsessed. Like even more than the Republicans, more than people that voted for Trump. These guys talk about Trump and how he's such a liar. No average people believe him. And then Joe Biden. I was first law in my class professor. I mean, like, literally, guys, just shut the fuck up, okay? So make a point or get the fuck out of my live stream. I'm done with you guys. Okay, if you're not gonna fucking make points and you're gonna talk about Trump, I don't give a shit. I want this country to be full of life, liberty, pursuit. You want to talk about Trump? Go talk about Trump in your room under your covers. Get the fuck out of here. So now, I think the reason they really do want to talk about Trump is because Biden is the worst president in history, and it's literally documented. And it's not just documented by Fox News, guys. It's documented by CNN. It's documented by MSNBC. It's documented by Rasmussen. It's documented by the Washington Post. All the billionaires have turned against him, and you know that the media has literally turned against him. They're not buying his Putin price hike either. They're literally not. CNN, they can smell the blood. They're sharks, and they can smell. They're not the most trusted name in news. They're the most trusted. They're the most fucking corrupt sharks in the media pool, and they literally have smelled Joe Biden's blood. He's going to be replaced. I don't know by who, because Kamala, same thing happened to her. After Tulsi Gabbard told everybody the truth about what she did in California, and Steve Mnuchin and all that stuff, and the death row thing, she was finished. Wall Street moved on to Joe Biden. Well, at least he's been there a long time. The adults in the room. Now he's the worst president ever. So who are they going to get? Pete Buttigieg? Like, literally, it's going to be
Booty Buttigieg.
He's going to play guitar with his fucking baby, and he's gay, and he's gonna fucking nothing will fundamentally change. So I don't want.
Here with reaction to our top stories, former senior counsel to President Trump, Kellyanne Conway, along with former Trump White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus. Kellyanne, start with you. Now, I watched this interview with Zelensky, and I watched it very closely. I actually thought for the first time, probably over a decade at least, 60 Minutes actually did a decent segment. But it was Zelensky's strength that made the segment. And his resolve, the fact that he didn't get on a private jet, get asylum in some other country, and take, cash and precious metals out with him. He's there fighting for his country.
I really appreciate Zelensky because he didn't fucking salute with a latte like Obama, and he didn't get on a private jet. He's just really not about that Green New Deal socialism, and he's not. What else can I say that Sean Hannity would say because he's just heard it from some fucking stupid shit that they're bringing drugs. Like, he's literally just a parrot of right wing. He's Rush Limbaugh's parrot. I think that's what Sean Hannity. But as you can see that they're one voice.
He's like Rush Limbaugh's idiot.
Zelensky's a god.
Rush Limbaugh was smart.
Zelensky's a god. As you can hear it in one
Rush
voice.
Limbaugh was very smart and very well read and knew his shit. Sean Hannity doesn't know his shit.
He was kind of a douchebag, but not unintelligent. He was definitely a douchebag, not unintelligent. He was not. Sean Hannity is unintelligent. Like, he's literally got fried chicken from KFC working as his brain. I don't know how this. What did you get something out of it? He's strong because he didn't go on a private jet. What does that have to do with the Ukraine war, Sean? Like, these guys don't even say anything relevant. I don't understand why these people watch this. But as you can see, what I learned from that is that they're all saying the same thing, and this is what IngSoc is about. We're all gonna be one voice, hating the enemies, loving the heroes, and we're all gonna be against the enemies, right? That's scene in 1984 where they just start yelling at the TV for no reason. All of them. That's what it is. And so it's happened, guys. Be aware. It's already here. IngSoc is here. So question is, guys, can we progress? Because I'm progressive. Can we evolve and not devolve? Can we work together for the common good? The choice is yours. The choice is ours.
By the way, Thomas,
not even mine. The choice is ours.
Has nothing to do with necessarily Democrat or Republican or even liberal. Teddy Roosevelt was a progressive and he was a Republican.
He was correct. He was.
Abraham Lincoln.
I don't think I said. I think working together for the common good is progressive. I think realizing that you make mistakes, apologizing for those, and then learning your lesson and having. I think that's ascending.
All progressive means is kind of.
And by the way, Martin Luther King did that.
It just means doing something, not just relying on what worked, but finding out what works better.
And that's what Malcolm X said about being able to adapt and change your mind. So you've got to be able to do that, guys. And if you can't do that, if you're just in the Clinton cabinet and you're doing neoliberal activities with the Clintons and stealing classified documentation and bugging the president, you're not a progressive. So shut the fuck up and get off my channel. Doc, you want to say anything else, though, before we close? I just want to let y'all know that I'm done with you partisans. But Doc, I really am, bro. It's not even the November yet. I'm already pissed. Okay.
No.
Oh, I have one more question. Doc.
Yeah.
So you think the Republicans are going to take everything? See, this is my fear, though.
Dude,
the Democrats are spineless cowards, but the
it
Republicans
is not a matter
are
of
bloodthirsty.
whether they will.
They're
It's not
bloodthirsty.
whether they will. It's just about how much.
Are you worried about their bloodthirsty nature? About what
Not at
happened
all.
last time?
Are you? You've got a bloodthirsty nature.
I don't want to nuke people. I'm not Lindsey Graham.
Not when they're hunting people like Liz Cheney and Lindsey Graham and all these fuckers. What's her name? Murkowski in Alaska. She's out. She's gone.
She is?
All these rhinos.
That's your okay.
So
is that your prediction?
The kind of Republican, what the Republican Party is becoming is like the populist party.
I mean, they still have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like literally dumb.
I love her.
I was balls.
She's awesome.
Oh my god, how do you love her? She's the dumbest thing ever. Her and AOC are dumb together.
I don't care.
They should have an office.
She's like, who does she remind me of? She reminds me of one of my aunts, actually. The person who will just say whatever, the craziest true shit that you're going to say to somebody.
Jewish laser beams? True. Antifa, constantly mentioning the propaganda of Antifa. I'm tired of these guys.
What did she say about that lately? I don't give a shit what she said 10 years ago.
Okay, but she didn't say it 10 years ago. She said it during the election of it was 3 years ago.
I don't give a shit. Ocasio-Cortez has crazy ass ideas. Bernie Sanders has some crazy fucking ideas.
Yes,
I don't care.
But the division cause. That's what I care.
I don't care what people's
beliefs
are, Thomas. You know this about
I care about why. I don't care about what they say. I care about why they're saying it.
I only care about what they do. I only care.
What has Major Taylor Greene done? What has Major Taylor Greene done? Then?
She's done exactly what they relegated. When they took her off all the committees, they like freed her up. She is out there causing trouble for the crony. Ocasio-Cortez tried to do it, but now she's playing ball. Like she's hardcore. She's Borg.
Broad Squad.
She's Borged.
So what did Major Taylor Greene do? Did she legalize marijuana?
She's not Borged. She's the opposite of Borged.
What did she do for me? These are civil servants. I want to know what Major Taylor Greene did for me.
She can't. What can she do for you? Because she represents
I don't know.
district in where? Florida?
I think every single person who's courageous in Congress.
She is standing up. She's standing up to the DC establishment and calling them out for the hypocrisy. She told the truth about that.
So you're saying that she's a Republican?
Shit they did with the bill.
So you're saying she's a Republican? She's calling out the other party. That sounds like
her own party.
Revolutionary.
No,
I mean, really?
She called out her own party.
She called out leadership, because that's how you get fired. That's how you don't ever come back, like Tulsi.
Watch.
Okay. I mean, okay, I will watch harder because I find her annoying. I find her unintelligent. She doesn't seem intelligent at all to me. But maybe I'll give her another shot, even though what she's saying is it doesn't make sense to me. Jewish laser beams. What are you talking about, Boo? I want to legalize marijuana.
I don't know or care about anything.
I don't give a shit about your Jewish laser beams. I would like us all to get marijuana offenders out of prison, especially the ones that Joe Biden put in for life.
Someone like her, I would like that. Someone who's got
a lot about
influence and power is someone like Ron DeSantis, who I just I love him.
These guys are just when they can take power, I won't know because this is my guess. I think they're just literally just doing the other thing, the opposite thing, because there's got to be two views, right? No more, no less, like the Sith. So they're just doing what they can, just like they did with the COVID thing. If the Republicans were on the other side, they would have literally acted like the Democrats, I feel. Because guess who voted for the Infrastructure Jobs Act?
No, I think
Republicans and Democrats. Guess who voted for the Iraq War? Republicans and Democrats. Guess who voted for the Wall Street bailouts? Republicans and Democrats. Every time they do something together, guess who voted for the CARES Act? Republicans and Democrats. Mitch McConnell famously said, "We're not fucking doing things together anymore, guys. Why not? I would block everything you do." That's what their whole thing is. I want a piece. Give me a piece. I want a piece. They can't have a piece. They get fucking out. That's what the politicians are to me. So I don't know what they're doing. But we could tar and feather them. I think they'll be more motivated. What do you think? Tar and feather? Bring back the tar? Is that kill people? That's not vicious, right?
I think that's extreme, but whatever.
But does tar kill them though? Because they're killing people all over the Middle East. So that's a little better than what they did. That's called grace, right? I don't know, guys. I'm just being free thinking, innovative, and totally open minded. But I don't know. What's the sort of consensus on Elon Musk? Is he's gonna be? I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
I think he's a good guy.
All right, even though he has those pictures with Ghislaine Maxwell, that's just irrelevant. He's a wrong
I
place,
didn't
wrong
find
time.
out about what that's about. I don't know.
Okay, so let's just guys be free thinking, innovative, open minded, constant vigilance to what Mad Eye Moody said to Harry, and Harry, he lived. He was the boy who lived. So let's try to do
Boy
that,
who
guys.
lived.
And always, guys, make sure that you watch the live stream main show. I have one tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the Great Commission. It's I got it from kind of influence from Easter, because we need to ascend, guys, to a higher level, and not the devolving hatchet jobs, but to the two wings flying, the bird flying like we were meant to. It's our intent. It's our destiny. With the United States of America, let's progress. Doc, thanks for being on the show. I'm gonna check your admin status. And I expect many more streams on this subject. I want full updates on Elon Musk.
However you get me back in, let me back in. I'll be up.
I'll figure it out. Maybe Facebook is like, they're horrible, but yeah, I'll figure it out. Guys, catch us tomorrow. Later.
Peace out.